Hey there, it's CJ Willie, and I'm back with another Magic the Gathering opening experience. I have in front of me the complete run of intro decks that were released with the Born of the Gods expansion. There are 5 intro decks, highlighting one of each color in Wooburg order: white, blue, black, red, and green. Over 5 videos, I'm going to open each of these up, talk about the intro deck inside, and then in separate videos, I'll crack open the booster packs. Each intro pack has 2 Born of the Gods booster packs in them. Hopefully I'll be able to pull something valuable. However, we're talking about Born of the Gods, so I highly doubt it. In any case, I'll be chasing one of the Mythic gods. Alright, I'm going to clear these out and open the Gifts of the Gods intro deck. It is the white-blue deck. Features a Silent Sentinel on the front. Alright, and I learned over time that to open these, you got to do it from the bottom, because if not on the top, you just can't get into them. Comes with the intro deck, the 2 Born of the Gods booster packs, which I'll be opening up in separate videos. So I'll set those off to the side. Move the garbage out of the way. Each intro deck is going to come with a booklet that provides information on the game. See if I can open it up without tearing it. Sometimes that's kind of a challenge. So on one side it's got a glossary of terms, how to get started, casting spells, how each turn goes, description on what the magic card has, instructions for combat, attacking, blocking, and even a combat example. On the back side, it gives some information on each of the colors of magic and the things you need to build a deck and what it looks like on the battlefield. And then the second packet of information is specific to Born of the Gods and each of the intro decks that were released in the set. On the front side is mainly information about the expansion and how it ties into Theros, which was the first set in the block, Xenagos, who becomes a god, and then some more information on Friday Night Magic, how you acquire cards to improve your deck. Then on the back, I'll be going through each of these as I crack these open, but the deck we'll focus on today is Gifts of the God. So it gives a description of all the cards within the deck, and then a little kind of write-up about how the deck can be improved. Okay, let's get into looking at this deck. I remember when Born of the Gods came out, Theros was an awesome set, but Born of the Gods just didn't seem to deliver on a power level. And so obviously I can pick these up pretty cheap because there aren't a ton of high value cards. Each intro deck is going to have a foil version of one of the rares. In this instance, it's Silent Sentinel. 7 mana, 5 and 2 white, 4/6 flyer. That looks a little overcosted. Whenever Silent Sentinel attacks, you may return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So there'll be 2 rares. The other rare won't be foiled. Hopeful Eidolon. See how many of these are. They came from the Theros expansion. Oh, just 1. That's kind of interesting. Okay. Nyxborn Shieldmate, another enchantment creature, this time from Born of the Gods. So 2 of those. Bestow was an interesting mechanic in Theros. You could use the Bestow mechanic to enchant another creature. So for instance, Nyxborn Shieldmate would enchant Hopeful Eidolon, and then if Hopeful Eidolon died, Nyxborn Shieldmate would remain on the battlefield as a creature. So I like that mechanic. I thought it was pretty cool. A good way of not getting 2 for 1 when someone kills your creature and you lose the enchantment. Yoked Ox came from Theros. So I'll kind of sort these by the set they came out of. So there we go, Theros. Traveling Philosopher, 2 mana 2/2, vanilla, and I get 2 of them. Flitter Step Eidolon, the first uncommon out of the deck. So it's a 2 mana 1/1 that can't be blocked, and if I bestow it for 6, then one of my other creatures gets +1/+1 and can't be blocked. So that could have a little bit of power to it, but way overcosted. Pillar of War, artifact creature golem at 3/3, and it's a defender, but if it's enchanted, it can attack as though it doesn't have defender. That came out of Born of the Gods. Ghostblade Eidolon, 3 mana 1/1, double strike, and if I bestow it, that creature gets double strike and +1/+1, so an uncommon. Laguna Band Elder, 3 mana 3/2, when it enters, if I control an enchantment, I gain 3 life. There's going to be a lot of enchantments, so that could pay off. Nyxborn Triton, 3 mana 2/3, kind of vanilla because if I bestow it, the enchanted creature gets +2/+3. The intro decks were made purposely underpowered. It would give you an idea of how the cards synergized, and then you could improve upon that concept. Some of the very first decks that I built in Magic the Gathering were based upon intro decks that I had bought, and then I improved them with other cards. Great Heart, 4 mana 2/4, out of Born of the Gods. Heloid's Emissary, 4 mana 3/3. If you bestow it for 7 mana, the enchanted creature gets +3/+3, and whenever it attacks, I can tap target creature my opponent controls. 7 mana is quite a bit. I remember playing this creature in Limited, and basically it was a 4 mana 3/3 that when I attacked, I would just tap down a creature. Card out of Theros, Coastline Chimera, 4 mana 1/5 flyer. For 1 and a white, it can block an additional creature, so kind of a defensive dude. Thassa's Emissary was out of Theros as well, 4 mana 3/3. It had Bestow mechanic. It gave the enchanted creature +3/+3, and if either Thassa's Emissary or the enchanted creature dealt damage to a player, I could draw a card. Floodtide Serpent is out of Border of the Gods. 2 of those, 5 mana 4/4. Can't attack unless I return an enchantment I control to my hand. Is okay if there were synergies on enter the battlefield effects for those enchantments. I just don't think that this card paid off that much. Griffin Dreamfinder, 5 mana 1/4 flyer. When it enters, I can return an enchantment card from the graveyard to my hand. No, thank you. Way too overcosted. That would be a card that I definitely get rid of and include something that was either a better flyer or had a more powerful enter the battlefield ability for a cheaper mana cost. And then a bunch of planes. Typically the intro decks had about 25 lands. Let's see how many this one has. 16 planes. What is it going to be? 10 islands? Yep, 10 islands. So this is one of the intro decks that is really heavy on basic lands. So 26 basic lands. That would be something as I would improve on this deck. Reduce the cost to some of the creatures. Hopefully pull more powerful cards, rares and mythics. Include those and then try to scale it back to be maybe 24 lands. First instant is Hold at Bay. Prevent the next 7 damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn for 2 mana. Not entirely useful. Ordeal of Helioid. Now the Ordeals out of Theros were pretty darn good cards. And in this case, for 2 mana enchanted creature, anytime it attacks, it'll get a +1/+1 counter on it. And then all the Ordeals, once you had 3 counters on it, you could sacrifice the Ordeal and get an added benefit. Helioid is okay. 10 life, Some of the other effects that were on the other Ordeals were quite a bit stronger. The other rare is from Theros, Gift of Immortality. I think this has a little bit of value, might be around the $1, $2 range, which is surprising because most often the intro deck rares had little if any value. This is if I enchant a creature and it dies, I can return it to the battlefield under its owner's control, and then I return Gift of Immortality to the battlefield attached to that creature at the beginning of the next end step. And what was cool was if you could slap this onto a creature that had an enter the battlefield ability, each time it would die and return, you would get that enter the battlefield ability, and Gift of Immortality went right on it. So it was almost like an indestructible like effect with Flicker. Pretty good card. Divination, what a staple. 3 mana, draw 2 cards. Excoriate, 4 mana, exile tapped target creature, so creature removal. Sunbond, 4 mana, enchantment aura. Enchant the creature, and whenever I gain life, put that many +1/+1 counters on that creature. For a while, this was a card that had some value around $1, $2, but not anymore. Griptide from Theros, put target creature on top of its owner's library. Vanquish the Foul, 6 mana sorcery, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, scry 1. Really overcosted, and the scry ability doesn't help it out. And the final card is from Born of the Gods, 6 mana Eternity Snare, enchant a creature. When Eternity Snare enters, draw a card, and enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. So overcosted stun effect on your opponent's creature. You get a card out of it, but 6 mana. I can see why this deck runs 16 lands, because there are some highly costed creatures in here. Organize my pile just a little bit. Get it set up here. So a good number of cards from Born of the Gods, some of the cards from Theros, and the 2 rares. A foil Silent Sentinel and Gift of Immortality. Alright, that is the first intro pack out of the Born of the Gods set. As a reminder, I'll be cracking the 2 booster packs that came in this intro pack later on this week. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, please like, subscribe, and share. Tell me in the comments section what you think about this intro pack from Born of the Gods, the white-blue intro deck. Until next time, when I'm back with another Magic the Gathering opening experience.